From Pony Express to an all things connected world. Satellites polluting the skies and the mass migration into cyberspace. What is the true cost of our technology? And is this where we want to be?
Amsterdam, we will not consent. We geven geen toestemming. They're already installing 5G installations on the roofs and the locals didn't know about it. They couldn't participate in the decision-making process.
Don't believe the hype about 5G. You don't need it, and you have the right to say that. 5G is not just one kind of radiation. It's going to include 3G and 4G in it as well, and it's going to bring massive amounts of radiation right next to your bedroom window. Do you really need the capacity for your phone to talk to your dishwasher or your dryer or your coffee pot? And I don't want to see the consequences of what will happen to us and to the wildlife around us if we have exposure to this kind of radiation that we cannot escape. It will be everywhere. That's the only way it will work. There are hundreds of scientists who have petitioned the UN for a moratorium on the development of 5G until we have safety guidelines in place, which we do not at this time because the FCC has said they don't need to revise their 23-year-old safety guidelines.
Denmark,
Wales,
Australia,
New Zealand.
We do not consent.
There is such a body of evidence. Changes in electroencephalograms, changes in evoked responses, this kind of change in the energy of the brain. How people can deny that these have biological effects is simply beyond me.
Heute, am 25. April 2020, ist der globale 5G-Protesttag. Für diese Kundgebung beschäftigen wir uns mit 5G als das geplante Internet der Dinge und der damit verbundenen massiven Erhöhung der Strahlenbelastung für die Umwelt. Wir sind nicht technologiefeindlich, aber für uns gelten ganz einfache Prinzipien. Und ein sehr wichtiges Prinzip ist Freiheit und Sicherheit zuerst, Digitalisierung danach.
We do not consent to the constant radiation and constant surveillance, the constant data collecting of our personal information. We know that this data downloading that the telecom companies are offering us is not just for us to have better movie downloads from 8 seconds to 2 seconds. It's so that they can download our data and sell it to big corporations and make more money.
When we talk about the power to modify our behavior at scale, we are talking about a kind of power that has never existed before. This is an unprecedented form of power. This is a power that works through the means of the digital milieu, through this vast digital surround, outside of our awareness, without our permission, without our knowledge, and therefore without our consent, without our right of combat, without our choice. We are not involved here. We are pawns that are being pushed around for the purposes of others' gain.
Luxembourg.
Iran.
Norge.
Pakistan,
Austria.
Italy.
United States of America, we do not consent.
My question for you, particularly Mr. Gillen and Mr. Perry, how much money has the industry committed to supporting additional independent research? I stress independent research. Is that independent research ongoing? Has any been completed? Where can consumers look for it? And we're talking about research on the biological effects of this new technology.
Thank you, Senator. I think, thank you for your focus on the issue. Safety is paramount, and as you alluded to, we rely on the expert agencies, we rely on the findings of the FDA and others as to the requirements to keep all of us safe. There are no industry-backed studies, to my knowledge right now. Happy to visit with you as to what opportunities you think there needs to be more studies, and we're always for more science. We also rely on what the scientists tell us.
So essentially, the answer to my question, how much money? Zero.
I can certainly follow up with you, Senator. To my knowledge, there's no active studies being backed by industry today.
Poland,
Deutschland,
Northern Ireland,
Sweden,
Scotland,
Afghanistan,
Bulgaria,
Portugal,
Slovensko,
Ireland.
I do not consent. I do not consent to 5G.
Long ago, they gave us radio, and we could sit in our homes and enjoy stories, music, and guidance from political leaders. Then they gave us television, and we could comfortably sit and enjoy entertainment and messages for hours on end. Then they gave us the mobile phone, and we could be in touch from anywhere, anytime, with anyone, even when we have little reason to do so. They saw that we would adopt a vast array of wireless electronic gadgets that gave us convenience, diversion, entertainment, connection. So they created more and more wireless technologies, systems, networks, gadgets, and consumer products. And we quickly and gladly adopted those technologies, those toys, those tools. They did not tell us that every one of those technologies put us in a thicker and thicker soup of toxic radiation and electric fields. They did not tell us those fields break and alter our DNA, cause a host of new diseases, cancer, heart disease, dementia, stroke, diabetes, birth defects. When they created that thing called 5G, with more radiation pollution than ever before, they showed us that they are not willing to do anything to protect us. We know that something must change.
.5G-utbyggnaden leder till en massiv ökning av skadlig mikrovågsstrålning som redan före utbyggnaden gör människor sjuka i stor omfattning. Ingen forskning visar att 5G är säkert.
No one has asked us any questions whether we agree with 5G and small cells everywhere, and no one has warned us on negative effects.
What we need to consider is whether the benefits outweigh the costs. Costs to our health, costs to wildlife, including pollinators, costs to our privacy, autonomy, and in fact, democracy. Our cybersecurity, as all these cyber-physical systems can easily be hacked. Energy consumption, with all these things humming and buzzing 24/7. E-waste, from the manufacturing and disposal of all these things. Effects on our brains and humanity when every human being is connected 24/7 to the internet. And the rare earth minerals used in all our devices and all these internet-connected things. The mining for those has contributed to the death of millions of people in the last 2 decades.
They're implementing now the 5G system, which will be the infrastructure for the Internet of Things, which basically means that we will have much more radiation in our environment, and we won't be able to escape it.
We do not consent to the Internet of Things being imposed worldwide without consultation.
We do not consent to the Internet of Things, as it will massively increase energy consumption, and this is not green.
C'est une technique énergivore. C'est un gâchis d'énergie qui n'est pas justifié.
We do not consent to have to flee our homes and leave our churches and our schools and our friends and our loved ones and our families because we can no longer live in our homes due to the constant radiation from the small cell facilities for 5G.
10 years ago, I got sick, and I found out after some time that it was because I couldn't be around wireless technology. I was a teacher, so I gave up my job, and I had to move from the place where I lived. Now I live here in the nature, and I hope I will be able to stay here, but I'm not sure. If 5G is a reality, nobody is sure anymore.
This is coming to you from London, and we do not consent to being used as guinea pigs.
The 5G technology comes with a serious health hazard, and therefore I don't give my consent for its deployment in this country.
I'd like to live in a world where pollinating insect populations are strong and healthy. Pollinating insects account for a vast majority of the food we eat. And with every successive generation of wireless technology, 5G millimeter waves being the absolute worst of them all, Their populations have absolutely plummeted.
We do not consent to being human guinea pigs.
We do not consent to being experimented upon. We do not consent to littering the stratosphere with tens of thousands of satellites.
We do not agree with the idea of spreading radiation all over Earth and sky.
Industry and individuals like Elon Musk do not have the right to saturate the Earth with these frequencies.
The birds do not consent. The insects do not consent. The trees do not consent. The rivers do not consent. I do not consent.
England,
the Netherlands,
UK,
India,
Bristol,
Canada, and we do not consent.
We do not consent.
Controversy is frequent when the scientists recognize serious effects on health and on the environment that cause high economic losses. Så er det ofte omstridt, hvad sandheden egentlig er, selvom forskningen taler sit tydelige sprog. Tusind tak for jeres opmærksomhed.
The Earth has a voice as well, and it deserves to be heard. The consequences of 5G will be enormous. 5G has no place on this planet.
Je refuse que le rayonnement de la 5G nous soit imposé à tous et en continu, sans possibilité de l'arrêter.
We need responsible action, and above all, we need true ecology.
I second that.
We do not consent to the compulsory exposure to EMF, and we condemn the installation of 5G antennas during lockdown.
There is no escape from 5G radiation, and it endangers our children and all living beings. It's unsafe and untested technology.
Não autoriza a instalação de 5G aqui em Portugal.
Stop 5G Ireland. There has been no public consent or impact assessment.
Coming from Belfast, we recognize a war when we see one, and this is a silent war. It's a war of frequency and radiation.
Perhaps it's time to reconsider and to prioritize health, safety and well-being.
Er zijn genoeg mogelijkheden om op een veilige, humane en duurzame manier met elkaar te communiceren. Wees slim. Vervang draadloze techniek door gezonde alternatieven, zoals glasvezel. Zo draag je bij aan een betere toekomst voor jezelf, je dierbaren en alles wat leeft op deze mooie aarde.
We do not consent to 5G, and we never will. And we will keep speaking up until our collective voices are heard.
Και θα ήθελα να πω ότι βρισκόμαστε σε μια κρίσιμη καμπή της ανθρώπινης ιστορίας και εμείς πολλοί άνθρωποι έχουμε τη δύναμη να την αλλάξουμε και να την πάμε στην κατεύθυνση που εμείς θέλουμε. Μαζί μπορούμε.
I demand a choice to be offline, for my house and my forest to continue being my shrine. And I want to go to bed and rest my head, knowing that I did not give my consent.